Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I told you many times the Russians are consistent in good and in bad. So when they tell you they're going to do something, they will do that something, good or bad. And it's exactly what Putin just did. Well, these guys, which are the Russians or the Russian leadership, they're marching ahead. That means, that little thing. The dogs are barking, but the caravan is rolling, keeps rolling. So this is what Russians are doing. Yeah, you call us criminals. We just decided that we committed genocide. Yes, we are the bad dudes, but you can't touch us. So off. We're gonna do what we know best, be bad. So what did he do? He actually does what is required by the Russian law, or at least the direction they take Russia into. And I'm going to show you. Here, this article obviously comes from their friends, which is Ukrainska Pravda. It is from April 27th. And Putin, this guy, signs into law decision to deport Ukrainians without Russian passports from Russian-occupied Ukrainian territories. All right, let me give you a different headline that Russians will write. We don't want that one. President Putin signs into law decision to deport all illegal citizens of other countries on the territory of the Russian Federation. All right. So that means a person on the newly occupied, Russia occupied these territories. The guys over there conducted referenda. Then they wanted to join Russia. They got into Russia. Now the Russians consider them, and the guys living in those territories, the Ukrainians are calling them occupied Ukrainian territories. Those guys over there, now they're part of Russia by Russian law. So obviously he said, okay, now you got to get Russian passports to be Russians, born over there. Like, for instance, I was born somewhere else, obviously my accent, but I am a citizen of, and I have a passport of this country. So if I would not have a passport and I would not have a residency here, permanent residence or a visa or a citizenship, I would be deported. I mean, that's what happens in any country on this planet. That's what it is. The problem is, you understand that Russians consider those guys Russians. If you don't want Russian passport, then get the hell out. You're illegally here. Basically, that's what they say. Let's cut the crap. So, Russian dictator Vladimir Putin has signed into law a decree allowing residents of the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine who had not obtained Russian citizenship to be deported. According to the Russians, what do you expect? Now, is that considered legal by the Ukrainians? Of course not. By the Russians? Yes. That's, remember, we call it, we just brought freedom and democracy to Iraq. Other people think that we invaded and bombed Iraq and took its oil. It's how you look at it. Anyway, Ukrinform citing a decree on Russian Federation's official internet portal of legal information. Details. Putin's decree stipulates that citizens of Ukraine or holders of passports issued by Russian-controlled puppet republics, Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic, must either become Russian citizens or declare that they do not wish to do so. Those who choose the latter will be considered foreigners from 1st July 2024 and may be deported. Now, I gotta tell you this. Now, obviously, from the Ukrainian side, this is not right? But let's see from the American side. The American side also, if Americans look at that, say that's not right, because you took those territories and they're not yours and so on, okay? But then, how would the Americans analyze this situation? Zelensky is saying, well, if you are still speaking Russian, then we're going to send you there, or something like that. How would we consider that statement, or something like that? I'm paraphrasing about 95% of what Zelensky said. That if you want to speak Russian in Ukraine, then we should send you across to Russia, or something like this. Those are Ukrainian citizens. of Russian-speaking Ukrainian citizens, how these idiots like to call it. Why? Because they don't want to get into genetics, obviously. If they go into genetics, oh my God, woohoo! Because from genetics we go to something else and we find things that are politically incorrect, and we cannot do that. So that's the only reason. That's why they call here all kind of hanky pants, American nationality and all that. Yep, okay. Anyway, so let's go back to this Weasel article here. All right, so a separate clause of the decree concerns the deportation of those who allegedly pose a threat to Russia's national security. Residents of the temporarily occupied territories advocating for, and I'm quoting, forcible change of the foundations of the constitutional order, end quote, in Russia and therefore in the territories it has seized, financing, and I'm quoting, terrorist and extremist activities or participating in unauthorized actions will be deported and banned from entering the Russian Federation. Now, change this with United States. So, any resident United States from United States advocating for a forcible change of the foundation of the constitutional order of United States, and therefore in the 50 states, financing, and I'm quoting, terrorist and extremist activities or participating in unauthorized actions will be incarcerated and deported where they came from if they are and banned from entering United States of America. Does it sound wrong? No, but because with Russia, and I understand the whole thing with, Russians seize those territories are claimed by those, but are claimed by the other ones, and so on. Background. On March 17, 2023, the pretrial chamber 2 of the International Criminal Court, okay, BS, I'm not going to read that one, doesn't mean anything because they can't do anything. All right, now this is important. I made an art, this is very, very hot. I made a video a minute ago, actually before this one, exactly on this subject where I said there's no point of return here. On 27th of April, today, 2023, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, PACE, recognized the deportation and forcible transfers of Ukrainian children to the territory of Russian Federation a genocide. So this is the point of no return between the West and the Putin leadership, or how do you want to go, the Russian administration. Because remember, however they want to call Putin and this and that, he was elected, through elections. They say they were stolen, but all right, not stolen. It's a different word. They are skewed and whatever. They lied and it was not fair, not open, and so on. Blah blah blah. I want to see the investigations. I want to see the outcome. I want to see the study, and so on. And after I see that, I would say yes. But before we go over there, we should go to to see in Japan if the elections are great. See in Romania if they are great, and so on. We're not going to do that. So shut the hell up. Anyway, but I'm just talking about. So they call this guy dictator. Dictator on dictator. He had a government. You have a Duma. Not only a Duma, they have a Senate. I can't remember how it's called. House, Superior House, High House. I don't know. High House. I don't know. But it's over there. So they have two parliament, two chambers of the parliament. They have a constitutional, how do you call it? Anyway, like a court. Yeah, you got that constitutional court over there. You have a judicial system. You have a justice system. You have courts. You got. I mean, you can't everything say, oh, everything is fake. You know what I mean? They have institutions. What do you want? It's corrupt. Yes. We're not corrupt here whatsoever. I mean, let's be realistic and don't cut the crap, you know what I mean? So, and they call this, keeping this guy saying this and that. Remember. That guy called Adolf, his party was democratically elected in the Bundestag? Is that what it is? They had the majority. I think they had like 33% of the elected, 33, I think, in 1933. And then he was appointed because he was the leader of the party that won the biggest number of votes in Germany. He was appointed, that's how they do it, Chancellor of Germany, legal by Heidelberg. That's what's his name, I think it was the president of Germany at the time, Heidelberg. And he was in chief of the army, a guy that Adolf did not cross until that guy went. That guy died. Then he said, "My time." So remember, he was democratically through the system. And then it happened with the attack on the fire on the Reichstag and all that. And then he said, "Well, I'm gonna defend you. I'm gonna protect you. Give me your weapons, and I'm gonna protect you, all of you." Sounds familiar? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you can see resemblances, but if you don't wanna, you don't wanna. You know what those ostriches are doing? They just bend over, stick their heads in the sand, and someone from behind them is gonna insert something. So if people choose to do that, go ahead, but that government has a lot of it to insert. Okay, so don't worry, you're gonna be filled in. Yeah, it's sad. I'm trying to make it like but it's sad. It's sad, and this is going down. Not going down. I think it just shows its teeth, not teeth. Teeth. That's what it does. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.